It was a dark, stormy night when Emily arrived at the Johnson family's large, isolated house at the edge of town. The wind howled through the trees, and rain lashed against the windows, making the night feel even more oppressive. She had babysat for the Johnsons many times before, and she was used to their grand house with its winding hallways and high ceilings. But tonight, there was something about the storm that made the house feel more foreboding than usual. Mrs. Johnson had been very specific when she gave Emily the instructions for the evening. The children are already in bed, but they might need a drink of water or a quick checkup during the night, she had said. The house is big, so don't hesitate to call if you need anything. We should be back around midnight. Of course, Mrs. Johnson. I'll take good care of them, Emily reassured her. After the parents left, Emily made her way upstairs to the children's bedrooms. The Johnsons had two kids, Lily, an 8-year-old girl, and Ben, a 6-year-old boy. Both of them were already sound asleep, tucked under their blankets. Emily checked on them one last time, making sure their night lights were on and the doors were slightly ajar, just as they liked it. She settled into the living room, curled up on the couch with a book. The crackling of the fireplace was the only sound that broke the stillness, and the occasional gust of wind rattled the windows. As the night wore on, Emily's eyelids grew heavy. She checked the clock. It was just after 10:30 p.m. She was beginning to drift off to sleep when the phone rang, its shrill tone echoing through the quiet house. Startled, Emily grabbed the receiver. "Hello?" A voice on the other end, gruff and cold, replied, "Have you checked the children?" Emily felt a chill run down her spine. "What?" she stammered. "Who is this?" There was no answer. The line went dead. Confused, she looked at the phone for a moment before hanging up. The voice had sounded distant, as if coming from far away. She shook her head and tried to dismiss it as a prank. Maybe it was one of her friends playing a joke, but she couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that had settled in her stomach. Her nerves were on edge now. She glanced at the children's rooms down the hall. Everything seemed normal. Still, she couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread. Deciding to shake off the feeling, Emily returned to the couch, trying to distract herself with her book. But then, only a few minutes later, the phone rang again. Emily hesitated for a moment before answering it. "Hello?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Again, the same cold voice came through the line. "Have you checked the children?" Emily's heart skipped a beat. She quickly hung up the phone and stared at it, her mind racing. She had checked the children just before, and they were safe in their beds. But the voice was unsettling. It was too calm, too menacing. Her nerves were getting the best of her. She stood up and made her way to the children's rooms, wanting to reassure herself that everything was all right. She slowly opened Lily's door and peeked inside. The little girl was curled up in bed, her soft breathing the only sound in the room. Emily breathed a sigh of relief. Next, she checked on Ben. He was also sound asleep, his tiny form tucked under the covers. Everything was as it should be. The children were fine. Still, the strange phone calls had unsettled her. Emily walked back downstairs, trying to dismiss her fear. She sat back down on the couch, trying to calm her racing thoughts. It was then that the phone rang again. This time, she didn't wait for it to stop ringing. She grabbed the receiver and shouted, "Who is this?"